This 17th century painting by Franz Franken the Younger tells the story from the Bible of the Feast of Belshazzar. Now, back in the 17th century, the average person didn't know how to read or write, so they learned their Bible stories by paintings and by hearing the priests tell the stories. Well, this painting tells the story of the feast, and it comes from the Old Testament, the book of Daniel. Now, King Belshazzar, who we see right here in the middle, was the descendant of Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar was an evil king who stole the silver and the gold from Solomon's temple in Jerusalem. So now Belshazzar is ruling the kingdom, and he's a bad king. The people are starving, and he decides to have a huge feast for 1,000 of his best friends. So he invites all the nobles and their wives and their families to come and feast at the castle. During this feast, he brings out all of the silver and gold that was stolen from the temple, and they're having a wonderful time, when all of a sudden, a hand appears and starts to write on the ceiling. And it writes, Mene, Mene, Tekel, Upharsin. Oh my gosh, Belshazzar was terrified. He didn't know what it meant. He brought in his magicians and his advisors, and nobody could tell him what it meant. So the queen came in, and she said, Daniel is in the castle, and maybe Daniel can translate. So they bring in Daniel, who was an old man by then. This is Daniel right here. And he looks at the writing on the ceiling, and he translates, Mene, Mene, Tekel, Upharsin. Numbered, numbered, weighed, divided. And that translated meant that God had looked down on Belshazzar's kingdom. His days were numbered. He had weighed his kingdom in the balance and found it to be wanting, and his kingdom was soon to be divided. That very evening, Belshazzar's enemies, who were waiting outside the castle, stormed the castle. Belshazzar was killed, and indeed, his kingdom was divided between the Medes and the Persians. From this, we get an expression, the handwriting on the wall, so that when you see signs that something is going to happen, some kind of doom is going to happen, that's a sign, that's an omen, and that's the handwriting on the wall.